The rain hammered the windshield like it had a personal grudge, turning the empty Kansas highway into a blurred watercolor of gray and green. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, my knuckles white against the worn leather, as thunder cracked overhead like the universe laughing at my stupidity. "James, you idiot," I muttered to myself. "What the hell are you doing driving 3 hours in this storm for a guy who probably thinks you're just his fishing buddy?" It started innocently enough, or at least that's what I told myself every night when the what-ifs clawed at my chest. Benjamin and I grew up in the same dusty corner of Wichita, two kids kicking soccer balls in cracked parking lots, dreaming of escaping the flatlands for something bigger. He was the golden boy, tall, with that easy smile that could disarm a room, and eyes like the summer sky after a storm clears. I was the quiet one, the artist sketching graffiti on abandoned barns, hiding my sketches under my bed like secrets too fragile for the world. We were inseparable from the jump. High school pranks, late-night drives to the state line blasting Springsteen, sharing silences that felt louder than words. College split us, me to the Art Institute in Chicago, him staying local at Wichita State for business because his dad, Old Man Hargrove, had plans for the family feedlot empire. But summers? Those were ours. We'd meet at the old quarry outside town, the one with the rope swing dangling over the murky blue water. That's where it shifted, subtle as a whisper. One July evening, the sun dipping low and painting everything gold. We were skipping rocks, shirts off against the heat, laughing about nothing. He turned to me, water dripping from his hair, and said, "James, you ever think about what it'd be like if we just stayed like this? Forever?" His voice cracked just a hair, and for a heartbeat, the air between us hummed with something electric, unspoken. I froze, stone in hand, heart slamming like a bass drum. "Yeah," I managed, throat dry. "All the damn time." We didn't say more. Didn't need to, or so I thought. That night, back at his family's sprawling ranch house, we cracked open beers on the porch swing, the cicadas serenading us. His hand brushed mine, casual, accidental, and lingered a second too long. I felt it like a brand. But Benjamin pulled back, chuckling it off with a story about his sister's latest breakup. I let it slide, chalking it up to the beer, to the heat, to wishful thinking. God, was I wrong? By my senior year, the distance gnawed at me. Emails turned to texts, texts to calls that stretched into the wee hours. "Miss you, man," he'd say, voice low and rough like he'd been holding it in. I'd lie in my cramped dorm, staring at the ceiling fan whirring lazy circles, imagining his face. When I graduated, I could have gone anywhere, New York, LA, but Wichita called me back. Not the city exactly. Him. I landed a gig teaching art at the community center, scraping by on ramen and hope. Benjamin was waiting at the airport, leaning against his beat-up Ford with that grin, arms open wide. We hugged like brothers, but my pulse raced like a thief. Life settled into a rhythm after that. Weekends at the quarry became ritual. Fishing poles, a cooler of cheap domestics, stories about everything and nothing. One afternoon, as the sun baked the rocks hot under our feet, he caught a bass, big, thrashing, and hooped like a kid. I reeled it in for him, our hands tangling in the line, faces inches apart. Sweat beaded on his forehead, and I swear, in that moment, I saw it, the hunger mirroring my own. "You're something else, James," he murmured, eyes locking on mine. I leaned in just a fraction, breath mingling. But then a truck horn blared from the road above, snapping us apart like rubber bands. We laughed it off, blamed the fish adrenaline. But the tension coiled tighter after that. Dinners at dive bars, where his knee would press against mine under the table, accidental on purpose. Movie nights on his couch, shoulders touching, the space between us shrinking until it vanished. I painted him once, a portrait from memory, his profile against the quarry sunset, all sharp lines and quiet strength. I never showed it, hid it in my closet like a confession. Then came the fall. Harvest season, golden fields stretching endless under a harvest moon. Benjamin's family threw their annual barbecue. The whole Hargrove clan in starched jeans and boots, grilling ribs and swapping stories of yields and auctions. I was there as Ben's buddy from the city, nursing a solo cup of lukewarm beer, watching him charm aunts and uncles like it was effortless. His dad clapped me on the back, called me son, and for a second, I almost believed I belonged. That's when she appeared. Eliza. Cousin? No, distant family friend. Raised like a sister but not blood. Her laugh tinkling like wind chimes as she looped her arm through Benjamin's. Blonde, poised, the kind of girl who looked like she stepped out of a J.Crew catalog. They grew up together, she at the girls' academy in Topeka, him at the boys' prep in town. Benny's told me all about you, she said, eyes appraising, hand extended. I shook it, stomach twisting. Benjamin's cheeks flushed, but he played it cool, steering her toward the buffet. Later, as dusk fell and fireflies blinked like fallen stars, I found him by the barn, staring at the horizon. She's nice, I said, forcing lightness. He nodded, scuffing his boot in the dirt. Yeah, Dad's been pushing. You know, the family way. Keep it all in the circle. His voice was flat, eyes distant. I wanted to shake him, to yell that circles could break, that we could redraw the lines. Instead, I clapped his shoulder. Whatever makes you happy, Ben. He turned then, eyes searching mine in the fading light. James. The word hung, heavy. His hand found my arm, grip firm, thumb brushing my skin in a way that sent sparks up my spine. For a heartbeat, the world narrowed to us. The crickets fading, the distant laughter a hum. I stepped closer, heart in my throat. And then he kissed me. Not tentative, not testing. Full, desperate, like he'd been starving for it. His lips tasted of smoke and salt. Hands cupping my face as if I might vanish. I kissed back, pouring years of silence into it, the world tilting on its axis. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed together. God, James, he whispered, voice wrecked. I've wanted that since. He trailed off, but I knew. The quarry, the porch, every stolen glance. Me too, I breathed. Every damn day. But reality crashed in like the screen door slamming. Voices from the house, his mom calling for pie. He stepped back, eyes wide with panic and wonder. We can't. Not here. Not now. I nodded, chest aching, but alive with possibility. That night we texted until dawn. Promises, plans. Soon, he wrote. When it's right. Weeks blurred into a haze of stolen moments. A hike in the Flint Hills where our fingers laced behind our backs. Coffee runs where our knees knocked under the table. Eyes saying what mouths couldn't. He talked about Eliza less, a footnote in family obligations. I started dreaming of Chicago again, but with him this time. Us building something real. Then the invitation came. Thick cream envelope in my mailbox. Gold embossed script. Benjamin Hargrove and Eliza Whitmore request the honor. My knees buckled. The paper crumpling in my fist. Wedding. 3 months away. I stared at it on my kitchen floor. Rain pattering the window like mocking applause. He hadn't said a word. Not a hint. My phone stayed silent that night and the next. I drove to his place at midnight, tires hydroplaning on slick roads, fury and fear churning in my gut. His truck was in the drive, porch light glowing like a beacon. He opened the door in sweats, hair mussed, confusion etching his face. James? What's? I thrust the invite at him. What the fuck is this? His eyes dropped, color draining. It's family. Dad's been on me. The business, the legacy. Legacy? I laughed, bitter and broken. What about us? That kiss? The plans? He glanced over his shoulder, into the dark house. Shoo, please. It's complicated. Eliza. She's safe. They expect. Safe. The word sliced me. I'm not safe? After everything. Tears welled in his eyes, but he didn't deny it. I love you, James. God, I do. But this world, it doesn't bend easy. He reached for me, but I jerked back, the rain soaking us both. Then break it, I whispered, voice cracking. Or lose me. He didn't answer, just stood there, a silhouette against the warm light, as I turned and walked into the storm. The days after that confrontation stretched like taffy. Sticky, endless, pulling me under. I threw myself into work at the community center, sketching murals with kids who saw the world in rainbows, not the grays clouding my vision. Mr. James, why's your hero look so sad? Little Mia asked one afternoon, pointing to my half-finished night on the wall. I forced a smile, smudging charcoal across his shield. Even heroes get lost sometimes, kiddo. But inside, I was unraveling, replaying that porch scene on loop. His lips on mine, the promise in his eyes, shattered by an envelope. Benjamin tried reaching out. Texts at first, "We need to talk. Please." Then calls I let ring to voicemail. His voice a ghost. "James, it's not what you think. Meet me at the quarry? Saturday?" I deleted them all, but Saturday found me there anyway, rod in hand, staring at the water like it held answers. He showed up at noon, boots crunching gravel, carrying the cooler like old times. "You came," he said, relief flooding his face. I didn't look up. "One chance, Ben. Explain." He sat beside me, too close, the scent of his soap, cedar and earth, twisting the knife. "It's the wedding, yeah, but it's a merger more than love. Dad's sick, cancer, stage 3. The feedlot's bleeding money. Eliza's family has the capital, the connections. If I back out." He trailed off, casting his line with a flick that belied the tremor in his hands. "And me?" I snapped the words like brittle twigs. "Where do I fit in this empire?" His line went taut. He reeled slow, deliberate. "You fit everywhere. That's the problem. I can't stop thinking about you. Us. Last night I dreamed we ran. Drove to California, started over. No families, no expectations." His voice softened, eyes on the horizon. "But waking up. This Wichita, James. This land, these people. They're in my blood." I set my rod down, the bobber drifting lazy circles. "Blood washes off. Love doesn't." He turned then, hand finding mine under the guise of adjusting the cooler. "I know. And I love you. Fierce, the kind that scares me. But fear's winning right now." His thumb traced my knuckles, a spark in the dry tinder of my resolve. I pulled away, but not before leaning in, our foreheads touching like that night on the porch. "Fight it," I murmured. "For us." We didn't kiss. Not then. But the air hummed, charged with what-ifs. He left with a promise. "Give me time. I'll figure it out." Time became our thief. 2 months to the wedding, and Wichita buzzed with preparations. Florist vans clogging Main Street. Eliza's bridal shower splashed across the society page. I avoided it all, holing up in my studio apartment with canvases bleeding reds and blacks. But Benjamin pulled me back in, subtle at first. A wildflower bouquet left on my doorstep. No note. A mixtape in my mailbox, tracks like "Wicked Game" and "I Will Always Love You" that wrecked me for days. One crisp October evening, he knocked, holding takeout from our favorite Thai place. "Pad CEW, extra lime." "Truce?" he asked, sheepish grin cracking my walls. We ate on the floor, backs against the couch, trading bites and stories like nothing had fractured. "Remember that time we snuck into the drive-in and got caught making out with those girls?" He laughed, but his eyes held mine too long. "We weren't making out," I corrected, heat rising. "You were practicing for the debate team." He set his carton down, shifting closer. "Liar. I was watching you the whole time." The admission hung, and then his hand was on my neck, pulling me in. The kiss was slower this time, deeper, tongues tentative, exploring ruins. I tasted basil and regret. His fingers threading my hair as if anchoring himself. We broke apart breathless, his whisper hot against my ear. "I can't marry her. Not like this." Relief crashed over me, wild and sweet. "Then don't." But doubt lingered, a shadow in his eyes. "It's not that simple. Dad's rally tomorrow, the announcement. Everyone's coming. If I bail." I cupped his face, thumbs brushing his stubble. "You bail on them, you choose us. Or you choose fear and we end." He nodded. "Fierce. Us." We spent the night talking. Plans sketched on napkins. A small apartment in Kansas City, him consulting on agribusiness, me teaching. Dawn crept in, painting his skin gold, and for the first time, hope felt solid. The rally was a circus. Red, white, and blue banners flapping in the wind, politicians glad-handing under the harvest moon. Benjamin's dad, gaunt but grinning from his wheelchair, introduced the future of Hargrove Feeds. Ben and Eliza, arm in arm, her in pearls, him in a suit that hung loose. I watched from the crowd's edge, heart in my throat, fists clenched. He caught my eye across the sea of Stetsons, a nod so subtle it might have been wind. But when the speeches turned to family values and tradition unbroken, his smile faltered, jaw tight. After, as folks milled for pie, he slipped away, finding me by the bleachers. "I did it," he said, voice raw. "Told Dad in the green room. He's furious, called me every name in the book. But I said no. To the wedding, to the script." I grabbed his collar, pulling him close in the shadows. "You mean it. Every word." His kiss was victory, urgent, affirming. We lingered there, hidden by the night, hands mapping familiar paths without crossing lines, just the press of bodies saying mine. But cracks spiderwebbed fast. Eliza cornered me at the grocery 2 days later, basket of organics in hand, eyes red-rimmed. "He tell you? About us?" Her voice was steel-wrapped in silk. I nodded, wary. "It's not about you, James. It's the betrayal. I loved him. Thought he loved me back." She laughed, hollow. "Turns out it was you all along." Guilt twisted me.
"I'm sorry."
"For the mess." She straightened, chin high. "Don't be. Just don't break him. He's braver than he knows. But Wichita, it chews up different." Her words echoed as she walked away, leaving me with a chill. Benjamin's family closed ranks. Invites dried up. His mom stopped her Sunday calls. Dad's health tanked. Blame pinned on that phase. Ben threw himself into work, coming to my place exhausted, collapsing into hugs that turned to quiet confessions. "They think it's a rebellion," he'd say, head on my shoulder. "Like I'll wake up straight tomorrow." I'd hold him tighter. "Let them think. We're real." Thanksgiving loomed, a minefield. He wanted me there, screw tradition. But I pushed back. "Heal your side first. I'll be waiting." He left for the ranch, promising one night only. Texts trickled, tough. "Miss you." Then silence. Friday, hangover heavy, he showed at dawn, duffel in hand. "I'm out. For good." Bruises under his eyes, voice steady. We drove to the quarry, dawn breaking pink over the water. There, on the flat rock where we'd skipped stones, he dropped to one knee, not proposal but surrender. "James Harlan, you've been my compass since we were kids. I choose you. Every day." Tears stung as I pulled him up, our embrace fierce against the rising sun. "And I you, Benjamin Hargrove. Always." But peace was fleeting. Whispers spread. Townies at the diner side-eyeing, old friends ghosting. Eliza's family pulled investments. The feedlot teetered. Ben's resolve hardened. But I saw the toll. Nights pacing, dawn runs turning frantic. "What if I ruined everything?" He'd whisper in the dark. "You saved us." I'd counter, tracing his scars, visible and not. Christmas Eve, snow blanketing Wichita like forgiveness, we decorated my tree with thrift store ornaments. Bing Crosby crooning low. Halfway through White Christmas. He froze, bauble in hand. "James, what if they never come around?" I took the ornament, hung it crooked. "Then we make our own family. You, me, this crazy town. It's enough." He smiled then, real and rare, pulling me into a dance. Slow sway in socks, laughter bubbling free. For a moment the world was ours. But dawn brought the call. His mom, voice quavering. "Benny, your father's gone." Heart gave out in the night. The line went dead, and Benjamin crumpled, sobs racking him like aftershocks. I held him as the snow fell thicker, our first real test crashing down. The funeral was a spectacle of hypocrisy. Black suits and somber hymns in the same church where Benjamin was set to marry Eliza just weeks before. I stood at the back, anonymous in the crowd of 200, my hand itching for his but staying pocketed. He delivered the eulogy from the pulpit, voice steady as prairie wind, recounting tales of his father's stubborn grit, the man who built an empire from dirt. "He taught me legacy isn't land," Ben said, eyes scanning the pews until they locked on mine. "It's the loves we fight for." Gasps rippled. His aunt dabbed her eyes, mistaking resolve for grief. I saw the truth. A gauntlet thrown. Afterward, at the graveside under a sky heavy with unshed rain. His mom approached. Steel gray hair pinned tight, face etched with loss. "James," she said, no warmth but no venom. "Heard you've been a friend." The pause stretched, loaded. I nodded, throat tight. More than that, ma'am. Always have been. She glanced at Benjamin, laughing hollowly with cousins, then back to me. He was always soft for strays. But this. Her voice cracked. Your father's gone because of you. The accusation landed like a slap, but she softened, sighing. Or maybe because he couldn't bend. Don't make Ben pay for it. I wanted to argue. Tell her love didn't kill, fear did, but nodded instead. I'd die before hurting him. She walked away without reply, leaving me with the scent of lilies and regret. The Shiva at the ranch was awake for more than a man. Traditions cracked, alliances frayed. Benjamin moved like a ghost, accepting casseroles and condolences, but his eyes sought me in every room. That night, as guests thinned, he found me on the porch swing, the same one from our beer nights, whiskey bottle in hand. To Dad, he toasted, voice rough. Stubborn son of a bitch. We passed the bottle, stars pricking the velvet sky. Your speech, I said. That line about love. Ballsy. He chuckled, bitter. Had to. For him. For us. Silence fell, heavy with the weight of what came next. The feedlot was his now. Debts mounting, Eliza's family circling like vultures, offering buyouts laced with conditions. Sell and run, he mused, head on my shoulder. Or stay and fight? Fight, I said without hesitation. But together. He lifted his head, eyes searching. You do that? For this mess? I kissed his temple, soft. For you. The rest is bonus. January thawed into mud season and we dove in. Ben hired a consultant from KC, a no-nonsense woman named Rita who saw potential in sustainable grazing, wind farms on the back 40 organic feeds. I chipped in, designing logos on my off hours, vibrant greens evoking hope over harvest gold. Mornings, we'd drive the fences, him pointing out weak posts, me sketching maps of dreams. Evenings, tangled on the couch with takeout and blueprints, his hand in mine like it belonged. But betrayal brewed slow. Eliza returned in February, not with pitchforks but olive branches. A coffee at the diner, her across from me in a wool coat, stirring cream endlessly. I get it now, she said, eyes clear. The looks, the excuses. You too. It's real. I braced for claws, but she leaned in. Help me help him. My family's offering a lifeline, partial stake, no strings. But he won't take it without your say. Suspicion coiled. Why tell me? Because I loved him enough to let go. And you make him shine. She slid a folder across. Terms, fair on paper. I took it home, Ben poring over it late, jaw set. It's a trap, he muttered. Control disguised as kindness. Or a bridge, I countered. To peace. He slammed it shut. Peace? They outed us to half the county last month. Concerned for the family's future. That's war, James. The fight escalated, words like barbs, accusations flying. You're holding on to grudges, I yelled, pacing the kitchen. This could save everything. And lose us, he shot back, voice breaking. They'll own me as parades at Pride, but whispers behind doors. I want more. I stopped, chest heaving. More like what? Running forever. More like free. He crossed to me, hands framing my face. With you. No compre mausis. The kiss that followed was storm-tossed, fierce, forgiving, sealing our pact. We burned the folder that night in the fire pit, ashes swirling like released sins. Spring bloomed defiant. Rita's plan took root, grants from the state for green AG, locals trickling back, drawn by Ben's grit, my murals on the silos turning heads. His mom visited once, tentative, bringing pie. Heard about the windmills, she said, slicing apple. Foolish, but proud. Ben hugged her awkward, tears unshed. Progress fragile as new shoots. Climax hit in June, wedding anniversary month. Irony's cruel joke. The church called. Eliza's family. Suing for breach, claiming emotional damages, dragging our private hell into court. Headlines screamed. Hargrove heirs scandalous snub. Reporters camped the ranch gate. Mics thrust like spears. Ben barricaded, raging. I shielded, fielding calls, sketching our story in abstracts to keep sane. One muggy night, storm brewing, he broke. I can't do this, he whispered, curled on the bed, face buried in pillows. Destroying everyone. Dad's ghost? Mom's silence. Your dreams deferred. I slid beside him, arm across his waist. Hey, we're building, not breaking. But doubt echoed his. My Chicago offers piling up, untouched. His empire a house of cards. The trial loomed, but Eliza called again. Alone, voice steel. Meet me. End this. We did neutral ground. The quarry at sunset, water lapping like uneasy truce. She stood arms crossed, wind whipping her hair. Sue? Petty. But they pushed my dad the board. I fought it. Proof in her eyes, weary truth. Then stop it, Ben said, voice raw. She nodded, pulling papers. I will. For a price, walk away clean. No counterclaims. And stay away from me. Not venom, exhaustion. We signed in silence, the pen scratching finality. Driving home, rain starting, Ben gripped the wheel white-knuckled. Betrayed by family. Again. By some, I corrected. Not all. Summer deepened, scars fading to stories. We hosted a barbecue. Not Hargrove Grand, but ours. Rita grilling veggies, kids from the center splashing in the stock pond. His mom in the corner, smiling faint at Ben's arm around my waist. To new legacies, he toasted, glass raised, eyes on me. Fall brought harvest, not bountiful, but ours. First profits from organics, a gallery show for my quilts in KC. One November evening, leaves crunching underfoot, he led me to the quarry. Full circle. Rope swing creaking in the breeze, he dropped to one knee again, this time with a ring. Simple band, etched with coordinates of our first kiss. James, marry me? Not for show, for us. Tears blurred him, but I nodded, pulling him up into forever. Yes, 1,000 times. The wedding was small, courthouse, then backyard vows under string lights, Mom officiating tearful, friends toasting with craft IPAs. No aisles, no betrayals. Just us, hands clasped, promising the fight continues. Years on, Wichita's flats feel like home, not cage. Ben's empire thrives green. My studio hums with color. We fight, over fences, futures, but always circle back, stronger. Love, I've learned, isn't absence of storm. It's dancing in the rain, choosing each other when the world says no. And that casual moment, the one that nearly broke us, it forged the unbreakable.